I don't care about impressing your friends. Don't care about fitting in the crowd. I'll say it one time and I'll say it loud. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't take dope or have affairs. Just call me square, 'cause I don't care. I won't do the things I don't believe in. I don't care about impressing your friends. Don't care about fitting in the crowd. I'll say it one time and I'll say it loud. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't take dope or have affairs. Just call me square, 'cause I don't care.
Come ride a little train going down the track at the junction. Woo, woo! Pinnacle Junction. There's old Uncle Joe moving kind of slow at the junction. Woo, woo! Pinnacle Junction. I will return.
Message deleted.
All right, later.
From the Spring Hill Toyota Traffic Center.
Roadway is partially blocked due to a crash with injury on Crichton Road at Marie Avenue in Pensacola. Also, we've got a crash in the turn lane East 9 Mile Road at Kimstrand Road. Also, the Crew of Columbus Parade will roll tonight in Mobile, followed by the Crew de Second Line, and in Fairhope, the Maids of Jubilee at 6:30. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Baque.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Guess what? Discover's accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. You heard right, 99%. If you don't think so, maybe it's time to face facts. You're stuck in the past. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report, learn more at discover.com/creditcard.
If you see traffic trouble, call the Acadian Windows traffic tip line at pound 250, keyword total traffic when prompted. Acadian Windows, your hurricane protection specialists.
Now, here's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Friend. That's friend. Enter it now. News Radio 710. The Uncle Henry Show. Weekday afternoons from 5 till 7.
Uncle Henry, how you doing? I cannot believe how ignorant a lot of people in the United States are.
Message deleted.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Wonderful town, wonderful people, places to go, things to see. My love is Mobile, that's my wonderful town. Beautiful homes, schools and churches, entertainment, places to shop. My heart's in Mobile, that's my wonderful town. Mobile, the center of transportation, business and industry set the pace. Mobile's got the Junior Miss celebration, home of Mardi Gras and Senior Bowl game.
Mobile is great to live in and work in.
The climate's ideal for progress you see. My love is Mobile, that's my wonderful town.
Roll Tide, roll, Uncle Henry.
This is the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM. Thank you. I really appreciate you listening to the Uncle Henry Show. It is a very important part. You listening, it's important to me as it helps facilitate the paycheck. So thank you for that. Thank you for your listenerhood. Once again, here we are together, me and you, trying to figure out what is going on. What's going on? What happened to people? I was talking to a Mobile businessman today who was explaining to me how that when he flipped the channels watching television at night, going from channel to channel. He could see the brainwashing going. He could see scripted things that were causing brainwashing going on. This is being confirmed by a Mobile businessman I talked to today. Maybe that's what's happened. Maybe people have been brainwashed into being dumb across our country. But anyway, here we are together. The Uncle Henry Show underway here on News Radio 710 WNTM. So much going on. All right, so today's Friday the 13th. Now, Friday the 13th is a significant day for stupid people, weak-minded people, and superstitious people, people that believe in all that kind of stuff. So if you know a superstitious person, help them out. Give them a Bible. Gift them a Bible and suggest they start digging in there. It'll help them out so that they won't be afraid of a day on a calendar. So you got Friday the 13th going on, that's just really bad for the weak-minded and the dumb people. You also have tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Yes, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Don't let it sneak up on you. Look, I know it just, you may feel a lot of pressure if you're in some type of relationship or wish you were in some type of relationship, but just do your best. That's all I can tell you. Do your best for Valentine's Day because it will be noted. It will be noted. This is something I've learned through the years. It'll be noted. Whatever it is, whether it's good or bad or in the middle, it'll be noted. Maybe even a spreadsheet done about it. You just never know. So Valentine's Day. And then we're in the Mardi Gras with all of these parades. You got parades tonight in downtown Mobile, parades on the Eastern Shore. In Fairhope tonight, you got all kind of parades just all this weekend into next week. Be careful when you're out and about, even if you're non-Mardi Gras and you don't participate. Still be careful on the roads because people are even more distracted. They're distracted already on the streets, driving around like lunatics, looking at their phones while they're driving, all that kind of stuff. Well, now it's going to be even worse because you get the Mardi Gras involved in it. So just be alert and aware as you are going about your business over the next several days. Now, of course, here on the Uncle Henry Show, we've got numerous of things to talk about. All kind of different news items to get to this hour, opinions and all that kind of stuff. I will tell you something else going on. I mentioned Friday the 13th. I mentioned Valentine's Day. Mentioned the Mardi Gras. Also, I heard a sound this morning. Well, no, I actually heard this last night after I got off work and got home. About 7:30 last night. I heard what I've learned are the sounds of raccoons mating. Yes, I know, and I wish I weren't even talking about that topic. But it is raccoon mating season, at least in Midtown Mobile. And how do I know what it sounds like, unfortunately? Because last year, on the morning of Valentine's Day, I heard something I couldn't figure out. It sounded like somebody was murdering a squirrel, which I know is a terrible thing to imagine what it sounds like, but it was a terrible sound. And it was so bad, I said, I've got to go out and find out what's making this noise. And I went outside, and my neighbors did too. We went outside, and we looked up, and it was raccoons trying to further their species. There were raccoons up there. It was a little early morning action going on there. Raccoons trying to repopulate Midtown with additional raccoons. And I heard that sound last night. I heard that sound. My dog, but tell you what, my dog was on high alert. My dog was trying to get in touch with all the other dogs. My dog wanted an app so it could reach. Have they invented social media for dogs yet? I'm sure it's coming. Anyway, it's raccoon mating season, at least in Midtown. All right, I got a caller. Hello, caller.
Good evening, Uncle Henry.
Bert, you are live on the radio.
Your listeners are about to learn the origin of the Friday the 13th superstition.
Okay, tell us.
And I know this because my dad was a Freemason. and I was in sort of like the junior Masons, called the Order of Demolay. It's the only fraternity I've ever been in.
Okay.
It was on Friday, October the 13th, in the year 1307. That's how far back it goes. That the Catholic Church pronounced the anathema, the condemnation of an organization called the Knights Templar. They were kind of like the Wells Fargo of their day.
Yeah.
If you had hundreds of miles of dangerous territory to cross with your loot from whatever enterprise you were involved in, you handed it over to the Knights Templar, and they got it safely to where you wanted it to go.
Okay.
And unfortunately, King Philip IV of France owed them a whole bunch of money. And he decided instead of paying the money back, he would just kill them all.
Hey, wait. We've got to... Bert, can you hang on?
Absolutely.
Please hold on. I've never had anybody bring this up during my entire career. I've not had this type of educational opportunity for the listener to learn about the Knights Templar and all of this. So please do not disconnect the line. We need to hear the rest of this call after the break.
From the Spring Hill Toyota Traffic Center.
Roadway is partially blocked due to a crash with injury on Crichton Road at Marie Avenue in Pensacola. Also, we've got a crash in the turn lane East 9 Mile Road at Kimstrand Road. Also, the Crew of Columbus Parade will roll tonight in Mobile, followed by the Crew de Second Line, and in Fairhope, the Maids of Jubilee at 6:30. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Baque.
All right, Lisa Baque sounding very lively in her traffic forecast. I once had a listener call it the traffic forecast. Hello, viewers. We have a small number of people looking in. Hello, thank you for looking. Bama Big Man, hello to you. Chuck, thank you for connecting me with who you connected me with. We're going to be doing a show before the end of the month. I'm going to get together with this person before the end of the month. So, Chuck, thank you for connecting me to that guest. I appreciate that very, very much. Richard Harvey, very crafty. 68-year-old Chris of West Loxley. Rick Henry, always great to see Rick Henry. Larry Morting. Who else? Norman Richardson. Gregory Reddy. Whoever you are, Gregory, thank you. Thank you for watching, whoever you are, whatever's going on in your life. Thank you for looking in. And I see that JD says that the family is off to the parade and he is happy to be home alone. There are different stages of life, aren't there? There are different stages of life. Now, let's see. What can I tell you about? I wish I had something interesting to tell you about. I've been out and about meeting business folks today in the city of Mobile. Edie. All right, Gregory Edie. All right, well, that's different. That makes a world of difference, doesn't it? People do like their names to be remembered and said properly. So, Gregory Edie, I respect your name. All right, back on the radio here in about 2 minutes. Let me see, what can I tell you about? Is there any kind of... There's all kind of Valentine's statistics out there. And I also see that there's a day, today was called Galentine's Day for women to gather together amongst themselves, I guess to help out psychologically the women that aren't getting Valentine's tomorrow, And then there's also the day after Valentine's Day is supposed to be some kind of day also, Singles Awareness Day or something, which is the dumbest. If you're single, you know it. I believe you do. You might not be the first to know it, but you'll know it. I don't know that you need an awareness day when you're single. But we've now reached a point where people's feelings are so much more important than they used to be, that if you have a holiday like Valentine's Day for romance, you've got to have other days to provide mental health resources for the people that didn't get involved in the romance. They need their own mental health resource days. Because feelings are more important than ever before. We need to start our own day, Suck It Up Day. Nobody's going to like it, though. They're not going to. What would we call it? Suck It Up Buttercup Day? They would not like that. People would not like that day. They might need it, but they won't like it. Maybe I could make that next Thursday, Suck It Up Buttercup Day. All right, back on the radio.
Sure, not a little sure, but super sure. The seismic shift is coming. Super sure, coming soon.
News? Check. Traffic and weather? Check. Opinions? Check. This is the Uncle Henry Show, only on News Radio 710 WNTM.
It's 5:20. Uncle Henry Show. News headlines coming up in 10 minutes. Bert is on the line, and if you just joined the Uncle Henry Show due to your lack of initiative or your lack of interest, in the last segment of the show, right before we went to break, I was talking about how it's Friday the 13th, and Bert, longtime caller Bert, is using his Masonic teachings to explain to all of us the history of Friday the 13th. And so, Bert, you say this has something to do with the Knights of Templar.
Exactly. To recapitulate, King Philip of France owed the Knights Templar a boatload of money. And instead of paying it back, he decided to just have them all whacked. And he apparently had enough influence over the leadership of the Catholic Church at that time to get the Catholics to pronounce the anathema on the Knights Templar. And everybody started going after him and rounding him up. Jacques de Molay, who was the founder, or the man the fraternity that I was in was named after, was one of the Knights Templar. And he was brutally done away with by the religious and political authorities of the day. And so apparently somebody associated with the Knights Templar had enough influence over popular culture that the Friday the 13th of October, 1307, the day that the Catholic Church pronounced the anathema on the Knights Templar, came to be associated with bad luck. Any Friday the 13th became a bad luck day. Now, I can't say anything unlucky has ever stood out in my memory as happening to me on Friday the 13th, but that's how far back it goes.
Well, now, had you become a Knight Templar, maybe unlucky things would have happened to you.
Well, first of all, I did not become a Mason, even though my dad was the head of his lodge at the time of his death. And I never joined the Knights Templar. There are people online, Uncle Henry, that claim the organization still exists, and they're recruiting members. And somewhere in the archives of one of my phones, I still have a way to contact them if I wanted to. But other people online say they're just frauds, they're pretenders, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, which there's a lot of online.
That is true.
So who knows?
Yeah. Now, what? Before you go, I'm curious because I've known people. I haven't talked to a lot of guys that went through the type of teachings you've gone through, but I've talked to some women that were part of these different Masonic organizations as kids and as teenagers. Did you get a lot out of it? Did you? Do you feel like you learned a lot more just by being in that organization?
just a little bit of history, and of course I've always been interested in history. I met a lot of good friends through that organization, and by the way, one of the guys in that fraternity introduced me to my first garage band in the 70s. And we rocked, Uncle Henry. We did a lot of Southern rock, a lot of Skynyrd and Bad Company and stuff like that. There's songs we played back then that I could still remember how to play to this day.
Wow.
So that's one of the ways that my career got started, was connections I made in the DeMolay fraternity.
All right. Well, I'm glad there was a positive there for you.
And the women's Masons are called the Order of Eastern Star.
Okay.
And I can't remember what the junior Eastern Stars were, but I knew that we had there were events where we got together with some of them, dances and stuff like that. That was very memorable, to say the least.
All right, well,
it was a way to meet. It was a way to meet girls outside of school.
And that's something that young men used to look for.
Exactly.
Well, Bert, thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that, Bert. That was I enjoyed hearing that kind of stuff. Knights Templar. This is one of those kind of calls I haven't gotten before about Knights Templar and these different Masonic organizations and things like that. Now, my family was never asked to join the Masons or any other organization like that, and that's because we were too poor. When you don't have a lot of money, you don't get asked to join a lot of things. It just happens when you don't, because people want you to pay dues and things like that. We didn't have a lot. They could tell by looking at us, we ain't got no due money, ain't got no dues. So I didn't get to learn about all this stuff. That's why I have to rely on talk show callers to educate me here, even at this age. 251-479-2723, the telephone number. That's 251-479-2723. Email address, unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. That's unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. Hey, before we go into any other topic, and I've got other topics, I got voicemails, I got all kind of stuff to talk about with you. I did want to bring up that there is a new lottery bill yesterday in the Alabama legislature. Somebody came up with another bill trying to get a lottery for the state of Alabama. And this is a very, very brief story from Fox 10 I want to share with you. It's about a minute. A couple of things stood out to me in this story. Take a listen.
Lawmakers filed a new lottery bill today. If passed this time, voters would decide. State Rep Philip Ensler wants you to vote on a statewide lottery. Ensler estimating the lottery would generate $300 million every year.
Now, that's just this one guy is estimating $300 million a year. Now, if that were true, you may have noticed state government always wants more money. Have you noticed this? Have you noticed that most governmental entities want more money? They do. Especially the state of Alabama. You remember how we had that BP oil spill, and that money should have gone to the southern part of the state, but the state legislature decided to just take all of that money because they love money. They need the money. If a lottery could bring in $300 million a year, why wouldn't they have already passed it? Just curious. All right, but back to the story.
He says the money would fund rebate checks for residents.
Rebate checks for residents? What?
Public education and public health. Ensler says Alabama needs new revenue after losing federal funding. He calls it the Clean Lottery Act. It is separate from another broader gambling bill filed 2 weeks ago.
I've just found that in my experience at the legislature, when they are put together in what's called a comprehensive package, there are just so many details and it becomes more complex. So separating out the lottery, it's the gaming and gambling aspect is a little bit more complex, and there's a lot more deliberation around who should get the licenses and where the casino should be. With a lottery, it's much more straightforward of should we have it or should we not.
The bills are now up for discussion through the House and Senate. The bill can be found on our website, fox10tv.com.
All right, well. And I went on their website. I was nosing around there looking to find the bill. I haven't found it yet. I'm very curious about the rebate check concept that I can promise you would not end up in the if this ever were to move forward. I don't think that would be in the final version of the bill. A rebate check concept. Back with more after the news break.
Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design.com Traffic Center.
Getting word of an accident in the turn lane, East 9 Mile Road at Kemstrand Road. Also in Navarre, watch for a crash on East Bay Boulevard at Stormy Circle. The Crew of Columbus will roll tonight in Mobile, followed by Crew to Second Line, and in Fairhope, the Maids of Jubilee rolls at 6:30. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Baque.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's new Biggie Deals. Choose one of Wendy's new Biggie Deals at 4.
Okay. Biggie. It just seems very childlike, doesn't it? What would you like for dinner? Something that's biggie. It just sounds childish. As an adult, can you feel good about ordering something called a biggie?
Lenny Slagon from Fox 10 News. A pickleball game at a Central Florida country club turned into a brawl. Investigators say a dispute over a rule escalated, leading to one player hitting his opponent in the face with a paddle and punching him. The 63-year-old and his 51-year-old wife were both charged with felony battery on a person 65 or older. Up to 20 players became involved in that fight. Day 13. And no answers in the search of the Chalk family disappearance in Theodore. The mother, Ariela Chalkchak, and her 2 children, Nurika and Anthony, are still missing. A suspect, Juan Carlos Argueta Guerrera, in court, pleading not guilty to 3 counts of kidnapping. Investigators say cell phone data connects him to the family's home on the day they disappeared, but he's not cooperating. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for March. Lastly, school spirit reaching a new level at the University of Mobile. More than 100 students transformed a basketball game into a live musical performance. The choir, in full robes, used only their voices to create real-time soundtrack, and that was all complying with NAIA rules. They sang Miss It for the free throws and Air Ball for missed shots, creating quite the atmosphere. I'm Lenny Slagon from Fox 10 News and this iHeartRadio station. Log on to fox10tv.com for your latest news, and happy Mardi Gras.
This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Fox News, I'm John Saucier. The House narrowly passing the SAVE Act that would require voters to show ID and proof of citizenship before casting ballots. It's on the way to the Senate now. Oklahoma Republican Senator Markwayne Mullin on the Fox Business Network pushing back on concerns about federal interference in state-run elections.
We're not telling the states how to run their election. We're just saying that you got to make sure it's a citizen that's legal to vote to be able to vote.
Some Democrats argue not only can illegal migrants already not vote in American elections, but the bill would create barriers for millions of American citizens to cast votes. The Trump administration pulling ICE out of Minnesota, ending what they call Operation Metro Surge. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey says the federal government should help the state recover after their destruction.
This has been an emergency caused by the federal government, and so it's all the more important that they also participate in the recovery from the damage that they themselves have caused.
America's listening to Fox News.
You ever wonder how far
YouTube viewers, if you're still watching, thank you for looking at the Uncle Henry Show. Let me take a quick look and see if anybody's still watching on YouTube. Yes. People watching on YouTube. Excalibur One Force, thank you for looking in on the program. Philip Brunson. KP of shirtbutter.com. Thank you all for looking in. U.S. Coast Guard wife, thank you all for looking in on the Uncle Henry Show. Back on the radio here in about 90 seconds. For those that like watching on video, Programming note, especially for 68-year-old Chris of West Loxley, there will be no video until Wednesday. Now, I think I'm going to do a brand new show for Monday, but no video. So I'll be back on video again Wednesday. Let's see, what can I tell you about between now and going back on the radio? I'm back on in 1 minute. In celebrity birthdays, born on this date in 1919, the late, great Tennessee Ernie Ford. America was better when we were forced to watch Tennessee Ernie Ford. It was. It was better when we were, now you may not have liked it, but we were better off when you were forced to watch Tennessee Ernie Ford. In fact, I think his show, I think he had a variety show that was sponsored by Ford. I wonder in my last years, could I change my last name to some major brand, like Hot Pockets or something? You know what I mean, just to get the endorsement. Tennessee Ernie Ford, born on this date in 1919.
Sign up for a free trial at audible.com.
This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Thank you so much for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Just a wonderful Friday. I've enjoyed this weather so much. And everybody's watching the weather for the weekend. Looks like a lot of this rain may miss the parades. It looks like the rain is going to be scheduled just in time to miss these. Let's hope it stays that way, that we don't have rain for the parades. But heading into a lot more Mardi Gras here on the Uncle Henry Show. Telephone number 251-479-2723. 251-479-2723. Email address unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. Now let me see. I've got some voicemails to get to. Let me go ahead and hear what these folks have to say. I want to make sure that we hear what is on people's minds. So here we go. This call came in just a little while before the show started.
Hey, good afternoon, Uncle Henry. This is RT.
RT!
The Democratic Party seems to be making an argument that asking somebody for identification is a civil rights violation. If that's the case, I believe they should put their money where their mouth is. We should start allowing children to buy alcohol and tobacco. If you're short on cash this weekend, Uncle Henry, just go to the bank and go to your neighbor's bank and withdraw a few hundred to get you through the weekend.
What do you mean? Just tell the bank that I'm my neighbor and they should trust me because ID not needed?
I mean, this is ridiculous. And why don't we just allow children to vote?
Well, that'll be next. That is, I think, lowering the voting age is on the list of things.
Well, it's not only a citizenship requirement to vote, there's also an age thing to require to vote, too. We might as well let our third graders vote in our elections.
Hey, I'm pausing there, and I'm going to unpause RT in just a moment, but we're hearing about how having an ID to vote is some type of just an abomination, that it just would it would be like going back to pre-Abraham Lincoln years. Just be terrible for everybody. So just mass subjugation of people in this country if you had to have an ID to vote. Can somebody go out and find? Has anybody in the news gone out and found a person that wants to vote but cannot get an ID? Because I keep hearing about hypotheticals. How hypothetical is it? But can you go? Can you go? In fact, they would these news organizations would fill they would fill rooms with people and ask them questions, different voters. Go get a group. Could NBC, for example, or ABC or CBS go out and get me a group of 30 people in a room that really want to vote and haven't figured out how to get an ID or blocked from it somehow? Then you got my attention. I'm trying to figure out, who is it? Who are these mysterious people that are just, they want to vote, they're interested. They want to be good. They want to be good citizens, and they want to participate in picking our leaders. But they just can't get an ID. It's terrifyingly difficult to get an ID. Could you please get some of these people? Get 30 of them in a room and let them tell their stories. All right, back to RT. Not much left of RT, but RT telling us about his thoughts on this premise that you need an ID to do just about everything. But having one to vote is just some type of, just some abomination under the Lord.
Third graders vote in our elections. I mean, if identification is asking me for my ID is a civil rights violation, I'm over 60 years old and it shows. I can't purchase a 6-pack of beer in most places without showing my ID. And I'm not offended. I mean, this is totally ridiculous, but if Democrats are serious about this, put their money where their mouth is. Make IDs illegal nationwide.
Make IDs themselves illegal? Is that what you're saying?
Why don't they do that? No, it's only for voting. That's ridiculous. It's BS, Uncle Henry. Anyway, have a good weekend. Hopefully we'll get through this. Pass the safe back. Roll Tide Roll.
Roll Tide Roll. Thank you, RT, for your voicemail. So you need an ID to do just about everything. Need an ID to, like, rent a car. Is it more important? Is renting a car more important? I mean, it's just the 6-pack of beer. That's more important than the voting thing. All right. I don't understand it either, RD or RT or whatever consonants are involved there. Hello, caller.
Uncle Henry.
LD, the retired mad trucker.
Man, I wish I was kind of retired, kind of not. Look, I agree, man. There's no reason whatsoever that you can't have an ID to vote as well as an ID to do anything else. But did you hear what today on the news that the overweight Democrats, they want to start voting by weight? So that would be a good thing for us, don't you think?
What do you mean vote by weight? What does that mean?
Like, for every 100 pounds you weigh, you get one vote. That
What?
would give your mother about 6 votes.
You freak! You're dead gummits! You're disgusting! How dare you say something like this about my mother, implying that my mother is overweight so that she would get additional votes. That is your premise of this cockamamie idea, is that our voting would be based on how much we weigh, and so that would be good news for the Republicans because my mother is gigantic. Is that what you're saying? That's sick. It's sick. It's a lie. Shame on you. Shame, shame, shame. And I don't know, maybe LD, I've been trying to figure out what's wrong with him. A lot of people have. He seems to be immune from shame. For most people that are psychologically semi-normal, the feeling of shame is a horrible feeling. It feels like burning embers on you. It's just a terrible feeling to feel the shame. LD lacking that component in his personality. He doesn't feel the shame. That quality, not feeling shame, that might come in handy, say, if you were a hitman or something like that, some type of mafia hitman, some type of sniper employed by Jeffrey Epstein and his friends or something. But it's not a good quality for a talk show caller. It's sick. You know, LD, you need to get together with your Bible. You need to sit down and read it, ponder it, meditate on it, pray on it, and pray about it. And then maybe you could start making a list of all the different people that you need to apologize for your lousy behavior. You could start, in fact, you don't even need to apologize to me. I'm sure there's a lot of people. You'd never get to me. There's probably a line between starting with your family, leading up to me, that would take you the rest of your life. And you know what? You might like that. That might be a worthwhile thing for you to do. To spend the rest of your days going up to and apologizing to all the people that you've lied about, like my mother, who is of normal size and normal weight for her age and activity level, according to insurance industry actuaries.
And we have two parades tonight in Mobile, the Crew of Columbus and the Crew Day Second Line. And the first one will start at 6:30. Also at 6:30, the Maids of Jubilee in Fairhope. The Bankhead Tunnel is closed for the duration of the parades. South on Pensacola Bay Bridge from Gregory Street to Gulf Breeze Parkway, it's a 31-minute drive. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Bakke.
This report is sponsored by Aleve. Life doesn't wait.
YouTube viewers, thank you for looking in on YouTube. I apologize for the way that last segment went. I thought it was going fine, and then that had happened. But I'll figure something out about these calls. All right, let's see. All right, so now this doesn't sound like real news. I want to share with you some weird news. This sounds like fake news. There's a farmer in China that wanted to try out a new concept for getting his pigs to market, and somehow he'd rigged up to use a drone to fly his pigs to the slaughterhouse. On the first flight, again, this sounds fake, but it's allegedly true. On its first flight, the drone carrying a pig got tangled in high voltage power lines and cut out electricity to a village. And it took 10 hours and 12 workers to fix the damage. All right, let's see. In other weird news, there is a restaurant, a chain restaurant in Boston, Raising Cane's. You may be aware of them and their chicken fingers. They have filed a lawsuit against their landlord because their landlord is trying to evict them. And the reason for the eviction, they say, is because it smells like chicken fingers. They opened up in 2022. They've already spent over $200,000 trying to reduce the chicken finger odor. You know, it reminds me of the people, the coffee shop on Old Shell Road that is near Spring Hill College. I forgot the name of the place. Somebody got mad at them, I think, because it smelled like coffee. You remember that story? Let's see. Going to be back on the radio here in about 90 seconds. Let me see if I can find any other weird news to tell you about. People, but you've heard of all the weird bets that people can make online now. It is reported that over $24 million was bet on whether or not the actor Mark Wahlberg would personally attend the Super Bowl because he's a big New England Patriots fan. People bet over $24 million on whether or not he would show up to that game. He did not go. He did not show up. Now, see, if you were a celebrity and you saw that people were betting on that, what is to stop you from getting your friends to place bets, and then you can decide who wins the bet? That sounds fishy.
The seismic shift is coming. Super sure coming soon.
Available everywhere with the iHeartRadio app. Now #1 for podcasting. This is News Radio 710 WNTM, an iHeartRadio station.
The Uncle Henry Show. It's 5:50. News headlines coming up in 10 minutes, and then more Uncle Henry Show. Hello there, caller.
Hey, Uncle Henry, how you doing?
Snake Trapper, how have you been doing?
Uncle Henry, I've been doing wonderful, man. That's a bad idea LD come up with, Uncle Henry, because with these white liberal women, the Republicans wouldn't never win another election. Because every one of them get about 3 votes apiece, Uncle Henry.
Well, that is, yes, that is I don't think, I hope his idea never becomes our fate.
We ain't got to worry about Uncle Henry. It's one vote, one person. But what I call to tell you about Uncle Henry, this is Valentine's Eve.
Yes.
And I'd like to recommend all them sweethearts out there, Uncle Henry. The best thing you can do for Valentine's is, one, you need to know whether your wife will prefer chocolate or flowers, and get whichever one she prefers, and give her that honeydew card, Uncle Henry. I'm telling you, man, when they fulfill that honeydew card, man, you couldn't make them happier any other way on earth, Uncle Henry. So I'd recommend you try that this year, Uncle Henry. I know you got a brand new bride. But give her whichever she prefers, and then that honeydew card, and then when they having you do what's on that honeydew list, man, I'm telling you, they really get a good pleasure out of that.
All right. Well, that may actually happen. That may actually happen.
Yeah, I will be giving Miss Snake Trapper. She likes the flowers, so she'll be getting flowers in her honeydew card, and so she has already informed me that our baseboards need cleaned, so I'm probably going to be cleaning baseboards.
Cleaning baseboards?
Feel her. Somebody's got to do it, Uncle Henry, and I guess she waits till she gets one of them honeydew cards to have something like that done. Last time I had to do the windows, so I'm pretty sure that's probably what I'll be doing, is the baseboards.
Well, that is very good advice, though. That is good advice for folks to be considerate of each other during the Valentine's. Now, before you go, I got to ask you about the snakes. The weather, we've had some very spring-like weather this week.
Uncle Henry, they are starting to poke their head out. One was spotted yesterday at my work. We were out there moving some stuff around out there in the yard, and come across a little small spotted king snake. Now, he was under the steel, probably trying to stay warm, but they are definitely waking up. And when they wake up, they are ready to feed, because they've done went several weeks, if not months, without eating anything. So, yes, sir, the activity will start picking up.
All right. Well,
also, too, that is with the possums.
Oh, it is?
I noticed two was hit on Snow Road last night, Henry. So I'm still campaigning for a possum crossing sign, probably somewhere on Snow Road between Tanner Williams and Airport Boulevard. I mean, they are getting slaughtered there, Uncle Henry.
Okay. Well, Snake Trapper, thank you very much. It's great to hear from you again.
Yes, sir, Uncle Henry. You take care, buddy. Now give Miss Uncle Henry that the honeydew card. I'm telling you, man, she will love it, especially when you're fulfilling it.
All right. All right. Snake Trapper, thank you. I can trust. Snake Trapper's never steered me wrong, except when it came to some potato salad, I believe. But thank you, Snake Trapper, for your phone call. Hello, caller.
Hi.
Hey, you are live on the radio.
Hi, I know. I want to give you a gift idea of what to get women for Valentine's Day.
What's that?
Give them what they really want. Give them a big bouquet of penis.
Hey! All right, listener, I apologize. I had to hit the profanity button because, I hate to say it. I hate to even acknowledge it, but there are just a lot of perverts. There's more than ever before. There are more perverts, and I hate to say this because I want to be positive. We're heading into Valentine's and Mardi Gras and all that kind of stuff. I want to be positive, but there are more perverts than ever before, even on the local level. And so I guess that's going to happen where a pervert will call the show. And we're talking about good things, having a good marriage, working on a good marriage, keeping the relationship good. And here comes a pervert. Here comes a pervert, just like that caller. Sheriff Birch, I think he said it.
There are a lot of perverts here in Mobile.
You hear that? Yes, that was Sheriff Paul Birch.
There are a lot of perverts here in Mobile.
One of them just called. Trying to get, and maybe got a thrill out of it, who knows, by calling. But the sheriff also said this.
We will eventually get you.
That's what he said about the perverts.
We will eventually get you.
All right. There's something to think about. You sick, demented, sleaze bag, scumball, pervert. I want you to think about it, pervert.
There are a lot of perverts here in Mobile. We will eventually get you.
Sleep on that, perv.
Democracy 2026.
Democrats claim they have momentum.
All right, YouTube viewers, no camera stuff until Wednesday, but I think there's going to be I don't know. There will be shows on. Thank you for watching. Have a pleasant evening and a pleasant weekend.
Compared to the RNC, which ended last year with $95 million in cash and no debt. House Speaker Mike Johnson tells Fox the party is primed for the upcoming election season.
We're going to have a war chest to run on and a great record and extraordinary candidates put out there on the field.